At the beginning of this documentary, we asked ourselves how well high school prepares students for college. In search of this answer, we first decided to head to a local college and ask students their opinion on this issue.
Do you feel like high school prepared you for college?
No, not really.
No.
Absolutely not.
I'm gonna say no.
No, I don't.
No.
No, just because they're so different. There's just like a lot of different aspects that there's no way you can compare. I didn't learn anything in high school. I went to public school and I came to college and then I had to actually pay attention in class. I didn't really apply myself in high school and I only had like a couple classes a day, so I wasn't prepared at all. Yeah.
I never studied in high school ever, and I actually had to study now. I was not prepared for that at all.
I went to a private school, high school, so it was pretty lame in the way of preparedness in general for college. So
It just was not as hard, not as much writing.
I didn't have to study in high school. You can just do nothing and get by.
High school and elementary school were the same thing to me. And then college is like unnecessarily difficult. I also don't try, but it's because I didn't have to try in high school, so I'm conditioned.
While many Lee University students felt unprepared for college, an equal number felt just as prepared.
I feel like my high school did a good job.
High school did prepare me for college.
I feel like it did.
I think yes.
I think my high school did. Yes.
I went to a high school with my class had 620 people in it, and so it was super big. You didn't really know everybody, which is similar to college, and that prepared me for. I'm from Michigan, and it prepared me to come to Tennessee and not know anybody, and just have to make new friends and get adjusted to the social life.
I feel like my high school did a good job of telling you what to expect and giving you advice of like, hey, go talk to professors, stay on top of your homework.
The specific structure that high school is set up in such a way that I feel like prepares you for like the classes and testing that it does.
Because I took some like dual enrollment, so
I think I picked up good habits in high school.
After our first round of interviews, we realized that we received plenty of differing opinions, and thus we would not find a consensus answer to our question. We did notice that of the students that did not feel prepared, a majority of them cited study skills and workload as a reason for their lack of preparedness. We continue our investigation by interviewing Floyd Ostrowski, currently the assistant professor at the Industrial Engineering Department at the University of Tennessee. Ostrowski formerly was the COO of a $200 million company that employed over 1,200 people. Within the first question of our interview with Mr. Ostrowski, we started to hear similar gripes about high school as we did from these college students.
Do you think that high school effectively prepares students attending your classes for college?
For the most part, yes, but there are some, I think, some deficiencies that I think we could work on. And the biggest one I see is really, I'm going to call it project management. Some folks may call it more of a study skills. But I see students coming in not really knowing how to do a project. And in engineering, engineers do a lot of projects. And I know here at the university, we focus a lot on project management. I think it could be a big help if they learn that in high school. How do you do a big project? How do you do a book report or a report? How do you look at laying out the expectations, laying out what we would call deliverables in project management? How would you develop a work breakdown structure? Work has to go into completing your project. How would you put together a schedule? And then how do you track it? And these are skills, I think, when we see our students coming in, they're really lacking on how to put a whole very large project together. Some of our projects go across 2 semesters, it could be 9 to 12 months long. And the key to success of that is knowing how to plan out that project. So I would say that's probably, think about one of the biggest skills that I see that are missing, that I'd love to see the students come more prepared for.
Even though the University of Tennessee professor believes high school prepares students, he notices the same lack of preparation in students that they see in themselves. Ostrowski then turns our focus to how high school students are learning crucial skills in relatively obscure ways.
Yeah.
So do you think that the curriculum being taught to high school students is relevant to their future careers?
Yes, it does help because again, they do come with a lot of those basic skills. And one thing I specifically like to talk about is because a lot of students talk about algebra. And we always hear, and I hear it all from high school, we're never going to use this again in our lives. And that's very true. And it's also very true for engineers too, because we now have computer programs to do it all. But the analogy I like to use on that is when you watch the football team practice, you see they got a whole row of tires and they go running through the tires, and keep doing that over and over again, practicing running through the tires. All the football games I went to, I've never seen tires out on the field that they had to run through. So why are they practicing that? Is they're building that speed and that dexterity. They're training their muscles for that. And I look at the algebra classes and stuff we take, and it's not, the skill isn't to solve the problem, the skill or to come up with the right answer. It's that process of solving the problem, building those mental dexterities, building those mental connections on how to work through a problem.
We then shift our focus to how students will perform financially on their own when they go off for college. For this, we interview Mr. Tom Marino, a 16-year teaching veteran who teaches personal finance at Cleveland High School. Mr. Marino describes what he teaches in his personal finance class and how he feels like it prepares students for a life on their own.
In personal finance, we just talk really a lot about life and how money intersects with everything that you do in life, the things you want to accomplish. So we talk about buying cars, we talk about buying houses, we talk about debit cards, credit cards, about credit scores, what it really means, and how you can go about doing that without getting in a lot of debt. We talk about the importance of saving money, emergency funds, and then I talk a lot just about relationships, about how important, like if you decide someday to get married, having kids, like how much that plays into your finances. We talk about life insurance, car insurance, just a lot of kind of the basic things that you're just going to need right when you get out of high school, college, going off to college, and the stuff that you need to do for that. So,
all right. So I guess this leads pretty well into my next question. How well do you think personal finance classes prepare students for the real world?
I hope it does. I know students are very distracted at times. I know, personal finance is not meant to be an overly overwhelming class. So I think there are some students that get a ton out of it. I think some students, don't pay attention a lot, but I think it does. I mean, I think it prepares them for what's next. And we talk a lot about the timeline of your 20s to 30s, and a lot of life happens in there. Getting married, possibly having kids, buying a house, moving out on your own, college, filling that house with furniture. If you don't have a game plan.
At this point in our investigation, we concluded that though not perfect, high school does its job when it comes to preparing students for college, and especially at Cleveland High School, this is true. We then interviewed Cleveland City Schools Superintendent Dr. Russell Dyer about how he feels Cleveland City Schools prepare students for post-secondary opportunities.
So switching gears specifically to Cleveland City Schools, what are we as a school system doing to prepare students for post-secondary opportunities?
Well, I could probably turn around and ask you that question and you would answer that better than I would, because I have found that by talking to students, I learn more about what we're doing than any other way. And I would add staff in that as well, our teachers and everybody else. But I think my response to that would be, we're doing pretty remarkable things. If you look at the coursework we offer both at the middle school level, and I remember you interviewed me at the middle school back in the day, and you look down the middle school and start there, with health sciences, with engineering, with all the different classes we offer. I mean, heck, we're offering college credit to middle school kids, which is amazing. I don't know any other school system in the nation doing that. So that's something that we need to be very proud of. But going over to the high school, not only do we offer one of the best CTE programs in our state, but also if you look at the number of dual credit, dual type of programs that we offer, I don't think you're going to find that in most other high schools and most other school systems. We are doing so much to prepare students for that next step, which is going to be college, it could be career, it could be military, it could be whatever you want it to be.
Though Cleveland City Schools boasts an impressive resume when it comes to college readiness preparation, there are still ways to improve. Dr. Dyer says these ways are evaluation, innovation, and communication.
So, what do you think us as a school system and then us as a student body can do to better prepare ourselves?
Yeah, I would start with the school system. We have to continue to be innovative, and we have to continue to look at the job market. We have to continue to look at all the different factors in place to make sure that we're, programming the way that we need to program so that we can continue to have a space for our students to move from this realm of life to the next realm of life and be prepared. So that could mean that we have to, you can't continue to just hire teachers and pay for programs. So you may have to at some point delete a program in order to make space and make a time and location for a new program to come in. So we have to continue to evaluate, innovate, and make those needed changes. For our student body, I would say you need to keep letting me know, you need to keep letting our principals know and our teachers know exactly what it is that you need, or where are we missing the mark, or what are we not doing. But also tell us, on the flip side, what are we doing well from your perspective? Because that helps me just as much as what do we need to change.
High school's main goal should be to prepare students for post-secondary opportunities, whether in the realm of education or the workforce. Some students have no desire to learn in high school, and schools can't do anything about that. In general, high schools do their job in preparing students for college and life due to personal finance classes. In particular, Cleveland High School prepares students by enabling them to participate in classes that are built to specifically prepare students for their desired careers. No high school can single-handedly prepare students for college. In the end, it's the student's responsibility to engage in their classes, problem solve, and work hard throughout high school. This is the high school dilemma.